guys, I am Chris Gaylor.
And I'm Amber Fossagajin Cosplay, and today we're back, guys.
After a year.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, for you, it might not be the first episode that, we're publishing after the huge break, but for us, it's the first episode we're recording ever since I was hospitalized last year, so
Yeah.
it's huge for us. We are a bit rusty, so be nice.
Excuse our awkwardness, please.
Yeah, we've been doing this intro I think this is the 5th time now.
Yeah, I guess.
We don't know how to do an intro now anymore. It's over.
No.
And we can't speak English apparently because I keep messing up my sentences. It's gonna be interesting, but I am excited because we're watching The Last of Us today.
Yay!
And I am excited about this show. I've been very excited about this show.
Yeah.
We were supposed to watch it live when it came out, but I was
We
in the
couldn't.
hospital. I was sick, so we couldn't, and I was pissed. But yeah.
You may not know that, guys, but The Last of Us, the game, is probably our best game of all times. Like
Our favorite, yeah.
Our favorite top 3.
At least top 3, but I usually say it's my number 1. It has everything I love about a game in it.
Story-wise and gameplay, yeah.
The story is good, the gameplay is good, the music is amazing.
So we may have huge expectations.
But I've also heard that the show is good,
Okay.
so I'm not too worried.
I think for me, what I'm gonna look at is maybe if they keep the heart of the story.
The heart?
The heart, yes. And the main relationship between Joel and Ellie. Because that's the main focus of the game. Please.
Because, doing a TV show about a game is a great opportunity to dive into those relationships, develop, dialogues. There is dialogue in the game, but gameplay takes a huge part, and dialogue is sometimes optional in the game, so you don't always have the whole thing, the whole relationship.
Everything might be a little bit fast forward in the gameplay,
No. The game takes a lot of time, so you can explore. That's the tricky thing in a TV show. They don't have as much time as in the game, but they can focus on the conversations, the characters, the backstories.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Sorry. The story-wise, like the conversations is maybe fast forward in the game because you play much more.
Well, you play in the game. You don't play in the TV show. See what I meant when I said we were rusty? We'll get back into it.
You get what I meant, guys, okay?
Yeah, but I'm not too worried about, them keeping the heart of the game, because I'm not sure if the game developers were involved, but I think they were at least consulted, and I know the voice actors were involved. I think we might actually see them in the show, which is really cool. So as soon as I recognize Troy Baker, I'll be like, wow! He's my favorite voice actor in any video game. He usually plays my favorite characters, so that's pretty cool. And also the voice actress for Ellie. I don't remember her name, but I know her face. So if we recognize her, we'll be like that meme from Leo DiCaprio. Yeah. Exactly. I have my water bottle, so I might just do like in the meme.
Alright, guys, let's watch it.
A new virus in Madagascar, say, could be in Chicago within a matter of weeks, and we end up with a global pandemic. Pan meaning the whole world becomes sick all at once.
Is it the actor of Jonathan from The Mummy?
Sometimes millions of people die as an actress.
But you, just to be clear, you do think microorganisms pose a threat?
Oh, in the most dire terms.
Foreshadowing at its finest.
Not bacteria, not viruses, so...
Fungus. If only they knew.
They're all gonna die.
Currently, there are no reasons for fungi to evolve to be able to withstand higher temperatures. But what if that were to change? What if the world were to get slightly warmer?
Don't
Oh, so this is because the Earth became, climate change.
And there are no treatments for this, no preventatives, no cures.
So if that happens...
We're doomed.
We're fucked.
We lose.
Oh, fuck. That's a great way to start the show. And they don't know it yet, but it's gonna happen soon. I don't know, this looked like 60s, 70s, perhaps?
68.
Is that 68?
1968, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Oh, the opening.
I love that they kept the music. I wonder if that guy lived long enough to see what he predicted happened.
I hope not. Well, If you did, you could say, I told you so!
Yeah. I already got chills, and I don't know if it's because of this or because of the fan, but chills.
Both. Both.
Maybe both, yeah. Also, they're gonna make this so present time is this year, 2023. That's cool. How did this guy survive 20 years in this apocalyptic world?
He evolved.
She did take the money in his room. Does that eliminate the fact that it's a gift? It's for a gift.
Yes, you need to know this. Yes,
It all started with a cough.
homework is due.
It's also like, I mean, I don't think they planned for this, but the fact that this came out after COVID, we're already so traumatized with everything COVID, you
You all
know?
have flashbacks.
Yeah. Everything has another meaning, like that cuff. Exactly. It's the calm before the storm, and we're just noticing every little thing that's happening.
Fungus. No.
Maybe I'm not that crazy. Maybe it is fungus. Maybe she's reacting. You see?
Oh, yeah, she is. Oh,
That's
yeah,
fucked
she
up. That's
is.
kind of like it. It too.
Oh.
Right?
Hey,
Yeah.
Mrs. Adler.
Oh, that's
When
great.
When she's changing in the back, yeah.
Fixed it for you.
That's great, but it's stuck. I'm gonna be so boring, guys. I'm sorry.
I don't hear anything.
I'm gonna be like quoting the game nonstop.
Where'd you get the money for this?
Drugs.
Drugs.
I sell
I smoke
hardcore
drugs.
drugs.
It's better than I do.
It was only $20, which I stole from you.
I knew
could
it.
have stolen 60, but I put the change back because I'm an honest thief.
Well, if you don't know, I was keeping that money to buy us something. The bills, electricity, water, food.
What was it more?
It's happening, guys. It's happening.
Things can go from 0 to 100 so fast.
Now it's time to look everywhere.
Dad?
So you can find some clues.
Well, later on in the show, we'll be like, loot! Save me! Always listen to the animals. The dog is freaking out, you're freaking out.
Come on, Mercy, please. Mercy!
Run for your life, bitch!
Mrs. Adler?
She's so much more brave than I would be. Fuck that shit.
For
I
all
would
she
not.
knows, nothing is technically going wrong right now.
After the dog freaking out, you think I would go like wandering around in his house? Walking all slow?
Mrs.
No.
Adler?
Oh.
Okay, Dad will be freaking out right now.
Are you okay?
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He's. Ah, jeez. It's HBO too, so we can get the blood and all that shit.
Oh.
Oh, it's growing out of her mouth.
That's disgusting, but I love it.
That's something we didn't have in the games.
Well, how do you expect all the mushrooms?
Get the truck! What are we doing, Joe?
Shoot. Or hit. You see, that this is his area of expertise. That's where he's good. She took charge in day-to-day life. He takes charge when shit hits the fan. Oh, I love that point of view, just like the game.
cell phone, no radio. Minute ago, newsman wouldn't shut up.
How do you know?
What?
How do you know we're not sick?
It's in the city.
You're saying it's mostly people in the city.
Can you imagine being a dad in that moment? Like, you don't know shit, you're also stressed, but you have to keep her calm.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You got a kid.
So do we. Keep driving.
We could put you in the back.
Somebody else will come along.
And what if they think the same thing as you did? But that's the thing.
Well, maybe
in a
not, but-
crisis, it's so difficult to make that choice. Like, do we help people or do we not?
I think this is what makes Joel such a great character. He makes the hard choices. That's how he stayed alive.
All right, take the field. All right, keep going, keep going.
Accident! Nope, not yet.
They wanted us to think it was that, though. They wanted us to think it was that.
I can't drive through them.
Are you serious? Just keep going.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I love how they
So,
I love
not
how
a
they
car
did this.
accident with another car, but with a plane. Close enough. Close enough.
Close enough. Now we're switching characters. We're supposed to switch characters.
Oh.
Sarah, don't look. You look at me. Okay? Sorry, baby. Come here, come here.
She's doing a good job too. She reminds me of Sarah.
That was close.
Violence. I like it.
Tommy! Head of the river, I'll find a way.
Oh, we're separated right away. Okay.
That's the part that I love with the intro with the game.
It's Joel and a girl. His girl. Oh, that's so cool. This actually terrifies me a lot more than like Walking Dead, you know? When they run.
Oh, we know what's coming.
You're safe.
Oh fuck, we know what's coming.
My daughter's hurt. Her ankle.
Stop right there.
We're not sick. We are not sick!
I'm sorry.
Too late.
Please, don't. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. Move your hand, baby. Move your hand. I know, baby. I know it hurts. You're calling. I know, baby. I know. Tommy, help me! Joe. Come on, get up. Come on, baby. Come on.
Yep, he did it well.
I can't cry at this, you know, because I've seen it so many times, but Jesus.
Yeah, it always scares me.
They did such a good job. She sounds just like the character.
Not really, in my opinion, but
I think
she did a good job.
Yeah. And that's pretty much when I said playing the game, that's how you fucking start a video game! Well, that kind of reminds me of Walking Dead. Little girl! Oh, look at the walls and stuff. I know a lot of people who play the game, you know, when they see 20 years later, they're like, wow, they're freaking out. Because so much can happen in 20 years, so why such a big jump? But I think it's perfect because we get to see nature taking over the city.
Well, it was 20 years in the game too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she's in there. I was wondering if... I think Joel's mentality is mostly, someone's gotta do it.
You gotta keep going to survive, yeah.
Someone's gotta do it.
Yeah.
Someone's gotta get rid of the dead bodies. Someone's gotta kill to survive. Someone's gotta, you know...
Go in the ship, yeah.
Hey, there
Hey,
she is! Ellie! locked up
Why
too.
is she chained up?
The answer depends on who chained her up.
Count slowly and clearly from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly and clearly.
I mean, the fireflies know she's been bit, so
Yeah,
they locked
but,
her. I think they locked her up so
what-
in case she changes.
What's
Marlene?
Marlene?
Yeah. So what if she changes?
No, I know, but wasn't supposed to trust Marlene in the game?
I'm not saying we don't trust her. They chained her up so if she turns, she doesn't kill anyone. Like it's the first time someone has been immune.
Cedric, you hear me?
I got jumped by a couple guys. I need you to take a breath.
What?
The guys who jumped me were with Robert. He sold our battery to someone else.
I need the
Tess
battery.
is the voice
Yes.
of reason.
Sure feel good without one, and if I don't get to Tommy soon, he's gonna die out there.
Okay, fuck it. We get our money back and the battery. And Joel, listen, Robert is terrified of you. So you march out of here all Clint Eastwood. He's gonna get wind of it and skip. I need you to take a breath.
We showed
Joel is the fucking boogeyman.
Oh, he is intense when he wants to. I like the little addition of an ulterior motive for leaving the city, you know, and getting a truck and
Yeah,
stuff.
because just bringing Ellie to point A to point B.
Yeah.
It's pretty much also the fact that in the game, they're all for themselves, like survival, you know?
It gives them a little depth, and it also
That
puts
makes
you-
much more sense.
It fleshes out the relationship with Tommy too.
Have some questions.
Yes.
The battery's no good. You still tried to sell it. Twice.
Oof. Oh.
Joel?
Marlene?
So this is who Robert screwed us over with? I mean, war must be going pretty shitty for you to be buying from scumbags like him.
Yeah, it kind of has been.
Give me my knife.
What do you need a car battery for? Go.
Not at her.
And to answer your question, I need it for a better reason than you do. No offense, but Tommy's just one man.
You're the cause of it. You turned my own brother against me.
Okay, Joel.
That was a lot of gunfire. Fedor's gonna be on the way.
You know.
We were gonna move Ellie out of the zone tonight. But we won't make it anywhere like this, not for a while anyway. So now I'm thinking you're gonna do it.
And they were going out. He's going out anyway.
You get her there safely, and they'll give you what you need. Not just a battery, the whole thing. Fueled up truck, guns, supplies, all of it. I swear.
It makes sense because in the game it's just for guns. This makes it more realistic, you know, there's much more at stake.
They need to go anyway, but they need the battery in the truck.
You're gonna love him. You're gonna love him in the end.
You stay close and you follow my lead.
Yeah, of course.
Let's go.
Time to be in stealth mode. Stealth mode?
Stealth mode, yeah. I was actually thinking about that. Like, I have a friend who hates playing stealth. He'd rather go in guns blazing.
Or you can be like me and be in stealth mode and just go in every single wall.
Walk in the wall, watch the ceiling. What the fuck? She doesn't play games often. Put your pants down.
Just get on your knees. Listen, you let us do this run, we'll split the cards with you.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
I'm so blessed. Hands on your head, eyes forward.
Really, man?
Yep. We're doing this by the book.
Oh fuck. Oh shit, oh shit.
All right,
oh,
what about 3/4?
Risk my job for half off. Out of your fucking mind. Fucking bitch! Get out of the fucking way! Whoa, whoa! We can fix this! Move.
Oh, he's been there before.
Move.
I love the callback. Yeah.
Oh.
Not gonna happen twice.
Yeah.
You know that this is what I wish I could have done for my daughter.
No, I'm not sick.
No!
I'm not sick.
No!
I'm not sick. This is 3 weeks old. Nobody lasts more than a day. What did it happen? It doesn't matter. You have to trust me. They're gonna catch us if we don't run.
He lost his school. Because he never dealt with this. He never dealt with the pain.
Is it an 80s music?
I think it's Trouble. Those Trouble Ahead, man.
Freaking clickers, man.
Yep. And not just them, the runners
Oh, this one's...
too.
We're gonna go inside the building.
We heard
them.
Alright. Oh boy.
Like I said, usually when they do an adaptation of a video game or a book series, don't have huge expectations because most of the time
Not anymore.
it's not gonna end up. It's not gonna go well.
This is good though.
For this first episode, so it's really good for the first time.
Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of things, from this episode. One thing I will say first, though, is I'm sorry, but I will make a lot of calls from the game. I will say the dialogue. I'll notice shit, because this is why you watch an adaptation when you've played the game, when you've played with the source material. It's the giddiness of seeing it come to screen and stuff and seeing it happen live. You're just freaking out. So every time, the voices sound similar, every time the dialogue is the same, every little detail of just one thing that jumped out at me was that shot of the light, which, beautiful shot to begin with, but that shot of the light coming through the window and you see all the dust. First of all, it reminds you of spores, which we haven't seen in this episode yet, but we'll see them later on. And by the way, I was surprised there were no spores near that clicker. I in the game I usually assume that whenever you have a dead body somewhere that has turned,
there's supposed to be
you've got
spores.
spores. So I was surprised that there were no spores, but maybe it's because there's only one and the place hasn't grown with fungi and stuff. But in any case, so the light and the dust particles remind you of spores, and it reminds you of the game too. The opening and the charging screen and stuff. It's the same thing. It's a detail. It's something they didn't have to do, but they took the time to put it in, and I love when they do that. I love it. And there's more. Of course, they have the time, since we don't have the gameplay to worry about. There's no tutorial. We don't have to learn how to heal Joel. He can do it himself. So we're taking the time to develop more shit, and of course, we're kind of mixing some missions too, and we have a better reason for leaving. It's not just we're doing this for guns. It's true that in the games, I would say, like you said in the episode, Joel and Tess, they come off as standoffish, standalone characters. They are selfish. Of course, because they gotta be sort of selfish in order to survive.
They're gonna do stuff for themselves, like food, ammunition, stuff to
survive. To exchange.
To exchange, yeah.
Truck in French, yeah.
Truck in French, yeah.
In any case, they gotta survive. So of course they're gonna look for those weapons and stuff. And it's, we saw this in the episode. It's not just a mean for them to survive. It's also a mean for them to trade with soldiers.
That's the word I was looking for, yeah.
They trade with soldiers who are in control of the zone. So that's how they get to go out. That's how they get scoops about, when to stay inside, when to go out, when they're going to look the other way, even though they don't listen. It's how they've managed for so long. But in the game, it makes them look sort of selfish. So in this, I love that we're kind of fleshing them out a little bit more. Like, Joel is obviously doing this because he wants to get back to Tommy. He wants to make sure he's okay. I was wondering, because he says it's been 3 weeks since he left.
Yeah.
In the game, I always assumed he had gone way earlier than that. Because they were, they had a fight about him being in the Fireflies and stuff, and now he's not with the Fireflies. But they had a fight, if I remember correctly, Tommy doesn't like the fact that Joel did bad stuff to survive, because Joel's, I think his mindset truly fits with the someone's got to do it. In the beginning, we saw this. It's just that lady's coming at him. He's got a girl to protect. He's got a brother to protect. He's got to hit her. He's got to hit that lady. He's got to kill her. Someone's got to do it. He would rather be
rather
him.
me than someone else.
Yeah, because he gets to deal with it, and he's the eldest. He gets to, you know, handle the shit. So someone's got to do it, and Tommy doesn't like that. So they've got that feud. But I love that, you know, you still got Joel thinking about him, thinking about going out to get him, not just in the game an afterthought of, oh, well, Tommy's, you know, used to be with the Fireflies, and let's go because I need his help. Like, he's not going to Tommy just because he wants to get rid of Ellie.
He's going out there to make sure that he's okay.
Yeah, so
everything is fine.
It'll be interesting to see the mindset and, you know, what he's going to go through when Tess is going to go, because in the game, again, like, I'm always going to bring it back to the game. I'm sorry. If it bothers you, I'm sorry. But, you know, in the game, I think it's his devotion to Tess that makes him go further with Ellie.
Well, that's the last thing that she asked him to do.
Yes, because he doesn't believe in...
Sorry, guys, spoilers, I guess.
No spoilers. If you're watching this, I hope you guys have watched the show or
we
played the
assume
game.
that you played a game.
Yeah. So, you know, in the game, I always thought of him as, you know, he would never have done it for the cause because he doesn't believe in the cause. Kind of like, you know, I can read the scene, like, of course I read it so in another way, like when he punches the guy, the soldier, and he looks at his knuckles and then he looks at Ellie. That's not, you know, he's not wondering in that moment, like, I killed a guy for this, for an infected girl. I think it might have been a part of his you know, of his thought process. But the bigger thought was, Jesus, I lost it. I killed someone because I had a flashback. You know, because I was in that moment, I was standing with my daughter in my arms. And back then I didn't do shit. And I'm not going to let that happen again. We're already getting in the dynamic of him caring for Ellie because she reminds him of his daughter.
But that's the main point of the game, basically.
I know.
You talk about the pocket knife that Ellie has.
Oh yeah, that's a detail they added that I wonder if it's gonna come back.
I don't think that's the same pocket knife that
it would be
Joel had.
It would be weird.
That would be a huge coincidence.
But like I know it would be a huge coincidence, but I can't help but think about why did we have that scene. I mean, it could be just like Joel has a past, you know, he's got that knife, he engraved, I think it was horses.
I didn't really see, so I can tell.
But I mean, that knife meant something to him. It's got a design on it. He's kept it, and you know, and his, you know, he doesn't carry it around or anything. So I think it means a lot to him, and to see that knife, you know, means he's got a violent past.
Well, that's gonna make a connection to his past with Ellie and his lost daughter. So.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm wondering if it's gonna come back with the fact that Ellie has a pocket knife as well. We'll see, because I mean, it's a detail that wasn't in the game. So I wonder what they're gonna do with it. I think it's interesting. I love that they fleshed it out. I really like this first episode.
Speaking of fleshed it out something.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the game, we know that Joel had PTSD. Like he
Yes.
needs to deal with his shit. I really love the fact that in the series, we saw the effect of it, like trouble sleeping, he drinks a lot, takes pill to help sleep also, and he's like you said, when he was facing that soldier, he had a flashback. He was back 20 years ago with his daughter, and it just.
And, you know, it's the little detail of him being so surprised with this. You just know it's the first time, probably in 20 years, that he has lost control that much.
Yeah.
It's hours with Ellie, and he's already losing control over the fact that,
you think
know,
that he maybe lost control because people are referring to him like a beast. Like
he's a beast.
He's the John Wick of that district.
Wasn't. No, the fact that we saw him with Sarah in the beginning, to me means that in that moment he wasn't himself. He wasn't in the present. He was in the past. So he lost control. Mm-hmm. He reacted like he wishes he would have reacted back then.
We got a flashback of the old Joel.
Well, the Joel that lost his daughter.
Yeah.
The Joel that was like, we're not infected and stuff, and didn't protect his daughter. I think that, I'm not blaming him. I'm saying I think that's how he sees it. Like, he should have protected his daughter. That was his job. He couldn't in that moment. So now he's, again, in between a soldier and a young girl. He doesn't care about the girl yet, but right away, you know, it's been a couple of hours where he's awake with her, you know, and already he's losing control to defend her. Because I mean he went back, so That's just, it's the tip of the iceberg of the relationship that we're gonna see unfold. But I love that we're already there because it makes sense. And he never got out of that moment, by the way. It's been 20 years, but he never grew out of that memory.
Never tried to deal with it, so yeah. I want to point out something, sorry. Love the fact that we saw what happened with Ellie and the Fireflies. Because like you said, it makes sense that they don't trust her to be safe. Because she's been bitten before. But I will say, though, that one of the facts is we're supposed to trust the Fireflies right now.
Technically...
Well, Ellie's supposed to trust Marlene.
Yes.
That's the fact that Ellie trusts her, so we should trust her too.
Well, that's one thing that in the game...
But she doesn't know her right now.
In the game, I always assumed that she grew up with Marlene somewhat. But then again, and this is where I reveal something. I may be a huge fan of The Last of Us, but I've never played the DLC. So whatever we learn about Ellie's past in the DLC, I don't know.
I've by playing the DLC, so I know what happened.
Okay, but do they mention Marlene in the DLC?
Well, I think so. I think Marlene knew Ellie's mom because
that's in the game.
That's in the Well, she's supposed to know Marlene, or at least trust her enough. But right now, she doesn't know her.
Well, in any case, I always got the feeling that she knew her.
Yeah.
Like you said, enough to at least trust her. I think in the show, we gotta remember, even though she grew up in this world, she never got outside the walls. She in this fucked up world, she is still the definition of a sheltered kid. So, even though, she's got that mentality of you don't trust anyone, you fight for your life, you attack first, you ask questions later, that's the mentality that got her going. And she's also dealing with the trauma of losing her best friend and, lover, if you think about it. So, it's huge. So, she's grieving. She's afraid. Something is happening to her that she doesn't understand. Maybe, even though she's got that survivor mentality, she is still seeking the adult, pat on the back, like, it's gonna be okay, girl, I'm gonna take care of you. And here in comes Marlene, a girl that knows her mother, or knew her mother, and took, made sure she grew up safe, even though she's complaining about it, at least she took care of her in that way. So, perhaps that's why she's so quick to trust her. I think she at least believes that Marlene is she wants her to be alive. She wants her to stay alive. She's got a good reason to keep her alive. Whereas, she doesn't know Joel, she doesn't know Tess. As far as she knows, they don't care about, the fact that she's immune, because I was thinking about this in the episode when Marlene was saying, if word gets out, you're gonna die. And we were joking about, well, Marlene, she wouldn't, she could. But then again, she's talking about other people too, not herself, but she's talking about other people. There are people, and I think we'll see them because they're a huge part of the game, there are bandits outside who probably enjoy this new world a lot more than they did the old one.
True.
So to find a girl like Ellie would mean a way perhaps to go back to how it was, and for sure there are people who don't want that. They are better in this new world. Even though everyone is afraid, everyone is dying, I think some people found strength in this world and they found power and they don't want to let that go. So that's why you can't tell anyone about Ellie. Some people might want to take her for themselves, take her and do whatever with her, be the hero who brings the cure and whatever, and who knows if they're going to be able to protect her, and others might want to kill her so that there's no cure. We don't know.
All right.
But all this backstory, even the first scene about the interview, talking about fungi, and just, it's interesting because we can assume what the virus is, or the fungus is. We can assume what makes them what they are, but to have a definition of what's happening to them, and to know that they are in there, that's a huge question in the game from Sam. We'll see him later, but that's a huge question from Sam. And, to believe that, no, okay, they're gone, they're not in there, that's the answer to his question, because that makes them feel better. We're killing monsters, not people. That makes it easier. But for us now, we know that they are in there, being controlled by the fungus. So how much awareness do they have? Do they see? Do they understand? Maybe not, but there's still a part of them in there.
Or there might be still one of them. We don't.
Well, I mean, the
we
way
don't
he
know
talked,
for
the way he
sure.
explained it, it sounded like they were still in there. Maybe not completely there. That's why they were like count to 10 and stuff. Like she still has her mind because she's immune, and if she lost it, she would be infected.
Yeah.
But the way he explained it, I was like, there's got to be a part of them that's still. I move a lot today, Jesus. There's got to be a part of them that's still in there, and that breaks my heart for the characters that are gonna die, and also for the characters that the clickers and stuff that we're gonna see.
But if we are still in there, somehow
we can control anything.
And if we do find a cure, do you think that we can maybe bring those people back?
I don't know. He
Or
was
maybe
saying
it's too late.
he did say that there was no going back, but then that's why Ellie is so important. That's why she's she's a miracle, because that wasn't supposed to be real. That wasn't supposed to happen. But then again, the world changed. She was born in this era. She was born with the fungus running around and stuff. Like, who knows? The species develop and they adapt. So that would be a quick adaptation. Like, she would be going strong with the mutations and stuff, but species adapt to their environment. So maybe in the future we will have more Ellies, but right now she's the only one. So speaking of Ellie, acting-wise, I was not disappointed. I mean, maybe there's a few scenes where I'm like, okay, it sounds a bit, scripted, but most of the time I'm like, this is great.
I will say though, love the acting, but for Ellie and for Sarah, maybe just bring a little bit up for the acting. Like there's
It's the first episode.
It's the first episode, but I mean,
Ellie didn't have
character and personality wise. I mean, they want to be a bit turned down just a bit, like
I
turn it
wasn't-
up just a bit. I mean,
I wasn't disappointed in Sarah. I thought, she stuck to the character from the game really well. The grunting, the exclamations of pain and stuff. I think, because I mean, I think I remember Pedro Pascal saying he never played the game, or at least he didn't play the game when he auditioned for it, and it's later that he checked it out. And I was like, he's got to have, of course, he has to have seen, oh my God. He's got to have played the game.
Seen.
Anyway, you understand. For sure, he probably played the game at one point, because there were so many, unless he was, the director was like really on point. He did some stuff in there that was like straight out of the game. Like sitting down and going like that and stuff, like that's just straight out of the game. And the way he says certain things.
Who knows? Maybe the director played the game and said, okay, right now you need to put your hands like this. So baby girl, everything's gonna be fine.
It's an adaptation.
Shot
No,
per
but
shot,
it's an adaptation. You cannot ask your actors to imitate completely the character from the games.
Of course not.
Because that's when you mess up. They've got to, that's when it sounds maybe too scripted, They've got to bring in a part of themselves in the role. They've got to make it their own, in a way. I think Pedro Pascal's doing it already. He's got, I think, when you play the game, Joel's got that, especially in the beginning, he's got that tired, it's
Looks
it's
like
hard.
her dad.
Our dad?
Yeah. He reminds me of her dad.
Okay. Maybe with a beard? Well,
Yeah.
maybe with a beard. I could see it. Maybe.
Yeah.
In any case, he's got that tired, I don't want to do this, like, another day. Like, he's got a weight on his shoulders. Whereas Pedro does have a weight on his shoulders, but I think he's still got some fight in him. And he's playing him more. You see the darkness in him, which is interesting, which is really cool, because like I said, there are no good guys.
Was it said that he used to be a soldier in the game, or just they decided to add it for the TV show?
Honestly, I don't remember. I played the game several times, and the last time I played it was actually kind of, well, no, not recently, because I spent a year in the hospital.
No, not recently.
But last year I played it, and but I don't remember some details. Like, I forgot a few things. I know we saw the veteran sticker on the bumper, the car bumper.
Yeah.
So, or I mean, on the truck. So maybe both brothers were in the army, or just Joel, because I don't remember if it's his car or Tommy's car.
I would assume it's Joel's car, maybe.
Maybe, but in any case, like, he's gotta have this from somewhere. Like, you saw how his daughter was the one in charge when it came to mundane things. You know, she's the one
Day-to-day life, yeah.
Because I mean, I think that's what happens sometimes when you get out of war, when you come back home. You have, I mean, and that's what they portray usually in TV shows, because I wouldn't know about it, but usually you see these characters, they have a hard time finding their footing, they have a hard time finding their routine, they're kind of all over the place because that's not what they're used to, but whenever you put them in a situation of crisis, that's when they shine. Mm-hmm. That's what you see with Joel. He's all over the place when it comes to routine and in the job and remembering, you know, his shirt and stuff. Like, that's why his daughter's so good. She keeps him grounded. Whenever he's in a situation of crisis, he's the one that takes charge. He's the oldest. He's got to protect his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I mean, his survival skills and the fact that he's such a beast. He's good with maps. He's got survival skills. You know, of course, that's after 20 years of living in this world, you get that. But why is he so good at it? Why is he the guy for the job? Probably because he had a background.
He used to do stuff like that. Yeah.
He used to do this. You know, it's like he's back in the war and he's back fighting for his life, literally. It's just that now he's got kids to protect. Well, I mean, depending on what
Speaking
when
of
he
Joel,
fought,
like,
you know.
we technically did not see him fight Robert's men in the TV show, like we used to in the game.
Yeah, they jumped over that.
But they technically bring up the fact that, oh, people are scared of Joel, like, people hear your name and they shit their pants, like, you're John Wick, basically.
They're keeping it as, they're keeping it for later.
Like, Joel, Joel, say it again, Joel. You know, so you know that if shits go down, you gotta be scared.
Well, I mean, they're hinting at it, and we know from the games, but the actual scene where we did see him beat a guy to probably death.
Beat a guy to death with his fist.
Yeah. So, and next episode we're introducing the clickers, and you know that's gonna be interesting. But they're keeping the fighter Joel a little longer from, you know, they're keeping it from us.
Seriously, I cannot wait to see Joel beating up the bandits in the city.
The bandits, yeah, that's gonna
be.
But that's
something to say.
I think that's what makes this game and this show so interesting. It's the fact that we have a character like Joel, who is our main guy. He's supposed to be the hero. He's supposed to be the good guy, but he's far from a good guy because the stuff
flaws.
he did.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this more later if they ever bring it up or whenever we meet bandits and stuff. But you know, he's not a proper civilian anymore. He can't be, because to survive you got to do the shit. Literally, you got to do the dirty job. Kind of like that, the metaphor of it we saw earlier in the episode. You know, someone's got to carry the bodies.
Which pay more the shit.
That's what he's gonna do because he needs to.
They said it.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was the one that, you know, would ambush people on the road and steal from them, and that doesn't matter if they die. Kind of like when they were driving and there was this family with a kid,
yes,
and he's like, "We've got a kid too. Gotta move on."
Speaking of which, in a crisis or apocalyptic world, that's the hardest question. Do you help people or you just mind your own? Because you need to protect yourself, your family, and your loved ones. But where do you draw the line, you know?
Well, he drew it at, I gotta take care of my own first. You know, that's why I kept saying that, you know, someone's gotta do it. His motto, because someone's gotta be the bad guy and tell Sarah, we're not stopping for the people you know, for the people you care about. We're family. That's it. That's what we do, because otherwise, who's to say that they won't jump them and steal their car?
Who said that they're not infected? They won't bring problems, you know?
You know, that's something they explored in The Walking Dead, which makes me want to rewatch the show, actually. But, you know, you got a character like Rick. I mean, Joel went through this during the 20 years that we didn't see him. But Walking Dead starts fairly early in the infection.
Where you still got morals,
yeah. So, you know, you got the good guy who wants to make the good decisions. And then I remember, I don't remember which actor, but they talked about Shane being the, I mean, sorry if you don't want to get spoiled about Walking Dead. Jump this section.
It's been years.
There are people who haven't seen the show.
Come on, guys. If you haven't
Anyway,
watched The Walking Dead, you're late.
If you haven't seen it, just skip the next bit of our discussion. But Shane being the bad guy in season 2, and we're like, oh, Shane is such a baddie, like he needs to go down, and we're killing him because of his decisions and what he's doing. But Rick becomes Shane in the later seasons. Like, Shane was just ahead of his time. If he was in charge of the group 3-4 seasons later, people would have been fine with him, perhaps.
Well, to their defense, though, Rick didn't try to shoot Daryl. Shane became a little bit crazy.
The thing about Shane is he was jealous of Rick, and that's why he had to go down. But when I say
making hard decision, like we
need to kill him. We need to get rid of anyone who has seen where we live and stuff like that. Like the stuff that Rick used to beat Shane about. You know, oh, we don't do that. Well, you do that in 3 seasons, 4 seasons. Give yourself some time. And then again, but then it's also about, you know, when do you come back to your true self? Because you can lose yourself in this survival mentality of, you know, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to be the bad guy. But then if you lose yourself in that mentality, you're not human anymore. You're no better than those creatures out there.
You're not living, you're just
surviving.
Yeah.
So that's why Joel right now is the guy that does it. The guy that, you know, he's lost himself completely when he lost his daughter. Tommy is the only thing he's got left, and Tommy left.
Yeah.
So Ellie is going to bring back some humanity in him, and I cannot wait to see all of that. And I think this is where Bella is going to shine. You know, you said you needed more from the character. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen much, and yes, some of the scenes were a bit scripted, like as in, you know, they're reading their script. Like, you know, there's not much that they're doing. Not necessarily just Bella, but...
Well, I mean, for me, the first time that we saw Ellie in the game, she's a spitfire. Like, she got character and a mouth of her own. And she had to, but a little bit turned down. So I'm gonna wait and see.
We had our fair share of fuck yous and stuff like that.
We had, but maybe I expected a little bit more from her.
Well, I think if we got more from her in that way, she would become cartoonish.
Not that much more.
I mean, I think later on we'll see the range better, but I didn't think that Bella did a bad job at all. I thought that it was fine, and Pedro was perfect. Some of the characters in there, I'm like, Jesus. Like, I'm actually wondering if this is the actual voice actress for Tess. I'm like, yeah, damn, that sounds like...
Do you want to look it up after?
I'll look it up in between the episodes.
That was cool. Before we end this, I just want to go back maybe with the set pieces.
Oh, that's perfect to me. It looks great. Like, they were walking in the streets. I don't remember when in the episode, but it's after the bomb when Tess, you know, is arrested, and there's like the staircase and stuff with the stairs, and then it's all brick and rocks, and I'm like, this is. It looks like a still from the game. It looks just like that. And I mean, of course, with CGI, they can recreate the famous shot of the 2 buildings.
That was just not magnificent, but that was great.
And I mean, The Last of Us is beautiful, you know, when you play it, because nature took over. Yeah. So to have that, like, I saw some pictures of them filming the show. And, you know, you had people taking shots of them, and they were like, oh, they're filming The Last of Us at my university and stuff, because they do end up in the university at one point. Mm-hmm. So they had to age the place, they had to leave cars around, you know, put grass everywhere. You know, the look of it is really good. Like, it's aesthetic to me. It looks great. And from, you know, we were in the city most of the time in this episode, so we didn't have a chance to see it yet, but I think they're off to a good start.
Okay.
It looks like the game.
I thought of something else. You know, people who got infected. Mm-hmm. This fungi that's growing cool. from the mouth.
That's cool. That's an element that we didn't have in the game. And
no, that's like so disgusting, but that's so cool because it's technically this virus, this fungi, it's alive, right?
Well, it grew, yeah.
So it brings something else that I really love about it. Like, it's really some sort of parasite that we have.
Yeah. I think that's why I love that it was done by HBO, because we get to have the gore, we get to have the blood and the dirty stuff, and it looks. This show needed that. This show needed to be done by a studio that wasn't afraid of bringing gore and blood and fungi.
All right.
So that was pretty cool.
So
we didn't really discuss, the soldiers and stuff. I am getting tired though. I get tired easily nowadays, but
or the fact that we saw maybe their own point of view.
I'll mention
like
it.
I said, not everyone is. It's not all black or white. Everyone is some sort of gray.
Yeah.
Everyone is just trying to survive.
Yeah.
It's tough for everyone.
But that's something in the game that we don't see because we follow the main character. So to have a character actually trade with Joel, so to have that soldier in the beginning with the little girl who's like, she noticed it. Like at first, like I said, I wasn't sure if the red meant not infected and green infected or vice versa.
Now you know that red is not good.
Yes. So when she saw that, she's like, she's got to keep on a brave face. She's about to kill a kid. And they went with the syringe and stuff. Like, they didn't shoot her point blank like it was an execution, which is something we see them do in the game. So some of them probably, power got to their heads. And you gotta remember that these people are people surviving too. They are also afraid if someone that is infected gets in, they could all die. Because that's why I was saying, usually, at least for me, I usually think that yes, it looks great when you've got walls and stuff, you can hide inside. So this looks like a good option to survive a zombie apocalypse. But it depends who's in charge, because if the security is not great and someone infected gets in, everyone could be wiped out because the walls keep you inside too. It's not easy to get out. But then to have security and to make sure that no one infected gets in, you've got to have police like that. It's sort of like a prison. You have no freedom because they got to make sure to keep you in check. Otherwise, people could start dying. And they don't want that. They're all humanity has left.
There's no easy answer to that.
There's no easy answer. So I love that we kind of dived a little bit in their mind, in their view of the situation, because they are the bad guys in the game. So in this, like, it's not, like you said, black or white. Everyone is gray. Joel is definitely gray. Tess is definitely gray. Although I did love that she was sort of the voice of reason at the beginning.
She sure wasn't in the game.
She's not in the game, but, well, I mean, sort of. Depends on the situation, but she was dead set on going after Robert. But in this, she's like, she didn't want to risk it.
Well, I just promised Robert that you wouldn't beat him up, but I want you to beat him up,
But, like, the thing is, if she really didn't want Joel to go after Robert, she would not have mentioned that Robert's guys got her. But then it sounded like she was trying to keep him calm because maybe he has a tendency of, like you said, going all John Wick on people. Still, to see, the soldiers keep a brave face and feel it, they have to kill kids, they have to kill innocents because they have to protect everyone. And the people they're protecting are rebelling against them, are rebelling against how they're controlling the city because they don't like to have their freedom taken. Mm-hmm. There is no winning in this situation. So that's why I think if I was in a zombie apocalypse, I would try my hand at a more free society, or I would just try my luck, be on my own somewhere. Outside. Yeah, like, I mean, you gotta die. You gotta die one day. Everyone's gotta die one day.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Maybe I would be okay living in the city, but, like, I like to think I would be the type of person who would be like, fuck this shit, I'm going out on my own. I don't know.
Alright, so, that was first episode of Last of Us.
That was a long conversation, at least
to
to me.
Like it?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I'm excited for the next one. We're gonna record this later though, because I am falling asleep. I do not have the stamina
Thank you guys for watching this episode with us.
Yes, hopefully you guys enjoyed our discussion and our reaction, and hopefully you will be there next week for episode 2. If you want to watch it early, it's going to be on Patreon, so check it out, as well as the full-length reaction, so you can go on to Patreon. Link is in the description below.
All right.
Check it out.
See you next time.
See you next week.